Thank you, Sophia, and welcome to everyone. We are excited to be back. We are excited for this new series to start, and we're excited to talk about recruitment. We are really in the thick of it at this point, right? The school year has started, and we are ready to get moving when it comes to PAYS promotion, PAYS recruitment, and we are excited to share some information with all of you today. So I will go ahead and say that we will have presentations today from Phyllis Law. So we're glad that Phyllis is here. She's going to be sharing some numbers with us on recruitment. We have, and some other things that are happening. We've got Mary here from Bach Harrison, Mary Johnston, welcome. We are excited to have her share some information related to recruitment and where we are and what's next. And then I will wrap us up at the end today to talk a little bit about some tools that we've got coming out. So new tools for 2023 administration. So then, as always, we have the group. Jeff is not with us today, I don't think so, but the rest of us are here. So we will be monitoring the chat. We will be here to answer any questions. We will be here to ensure that the panelists are able to get the questions that you have burning that you need to have answers to. So we will be here to manage all of that as well as normal. So welcome all panelists. So like I said earlier today, we are going to talk about PAYS registration, where we are now, where we were in the past. We've got live updates. We're going to go over some of the information on how you can access some of the, or who has registered and who hasn't. We are going to talk about, as we're sort of entering this final hour here, tips and tricks for PAYS recruitment and how you can engage school districts. But also we're getting a lot of questions. I know Elise is getting a lot of questions from parents as well. So we do have, which leads me to the final point of today, the final objective, which is tools for PAYS 2023. And we have a lot of new tools that can be accessible to you and to school districts. So we are excited to announce some of those, and we'll show you how to access those as well. So thank you very much, Sophia. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Phyllis, who's going to talk about PAYS registration and where we are. So Phyllis, take it away.
Oh, and actually, I can take this one.
Sorry to say, I think we're flipping it to Mary first. I didn't know if you knew she was here. So, Mary, take it away.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of overview, and then I'll hand it over to Phyllis, who's just going to talk more about very specific recruitment strategies and kind of how we can really dive in. So as of the last check-in for this, we have 362 districts that have signed on, and then 53 kind of what we call non-traditional LEAs. So this includes charter schools. We have 40 of those, 7 private schools, and then 6 COM CTCs, which are just kind of self-contained education centers. Kind of relative to that, we always use kind of the previous year's registration to just see kind of how things are going. In 2021, by the time recruitment was finished, we had 392 traditional LEAs or districts on board. We had 48 non-traditional. So we're in the lead. Non-traditional schools, we have more participating than we did last time. We're lagging a little bit when it comes to school districts that are participating. So there is some more kind of targeted efforts that need to take place when it comes to getting those traditional districts on board. Next slide. Let's see. In general, Phyllis, did you want to take it from here to talk about these?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So, hey, everybody, glad to be back with y'all. I know I haven't seen you in a while. I've always been here in spirit, but I want to spend a little bit of time today to just kind of walk through a little bit what Mary brought up for us to get us thinking about recruitment. We're going to start first with the mapping project, and this is on the PCCD website. The link here is live. You can go there, and basically what it is, it's some interactive maps that show you the growth of pays over time, and it's kind of cool, and you can really show different kind of boundaries that you can pull up. You can see here, you can have the legislative boundaries, the IU boundaries. You can also have county boundaries. It's just kind of a cool tool to watch as your area and as pays across the state has grown throughout the years. In the later years, we do include participating grades as well as rates. The 2021 data is not there yet. We're still working on that, but it's really kind of cool to include if you would like in a presentation as you're going out. And so I encourage you to go in and kind of play with it. It's a really cool tool. So, sorry, I'm trying to move my, Sophia, can you fast forward me? I'm sorry, I'm used to being self-sufficient here. So one of the things that we definitely want to do, as Mary set up, is to talk about outreach and registration. Buck Harrison, as always, has been just a thriving and such an important member of our PACE family, and they do an amazing job. But now it's to the point where we ourselves have got to take some, do some outreach. They've done a lot of outreach already. You can see here that what is listed, there were letters sent to the superintendents in May. There was another outreach done just last month. And so what I'm going to talk mostly about is this. I'm going to use a basketball reference here. I know we're in football season, but this full court press. We have got to start reaching out to those districts. You can see here two important links that you'll see a couple of times throughout the presentation, but there's the live registration link that is included here. So if a school district, if you reach out and go, how, and they're like, well, yeah, we'll register. I thought we were, which we hear a lot. Here's the link you can send them, and it'll go straight into the system, and it's all set up. Also, if you want to check on live registration, like how things are going, the second link here, this is an active live Airtable that really works, stays updated currently, so you're able to see. I actually have mine sorted, so every morning I go in and see who else is registered from the previous day. All of this is on the pays.pa.gov. Y'all have heard it a lot. There's a whole entire 2023 administration page there. Slides, please. So as you can see here, we have the numbers Mary previously gave you were from a few weeks ago, and we have been doing some real active outreach. The list that I'm about to share with you has gone out through various avenues and meetings, and we're just trying to spread the word. So with quick math yesterday, and I got to say very quick math, we had 374 districts. I'm going to focus today's talk on districts, on actual school districts, not the other non-traditional schools, because I feel like now we really need to really work, because our goal that we kind of set internally, we love to hit that 420 districts, which would exceed our highest number in 2019. We had, I think, 414 districts. So I do believe that we can do it. Sophie, if you can click and we can take off. Yes. So what I'm going to do here for the next couple of slides is I'm going to pull up so that you can look in your area what districts are not registered, and that's as of this morning. Okay, so they're alphabetized by county. So I'm going to go through these. You can see here I've checked off how often that they have participated. These are ones that have historically participated since 2015. You can see here, Sophia, if you want to go to the next slide. Moving on, we have Huntingdon to Washington, those counties. Again, you can see there's quite a few here that have historically participated. Now, one of the things that we are seeing here, I'll give you a minute to kind of look and make some notes here, that, a lot of districts are being a little more conservative right now. We believe that they're going, they're not just kind of, we've done this always and they're checking a box. They're making sure that school boards are seeing it. They're asking for a copy of the survey, things like that, which is important. And we're glad they're doing that because we love transparency, right? So, Sophie, if you can go on to the last part of the list here. And these are the last three that we have. So based on this list, We have 42 districts that have not registered, but have that did participate in 2021. And of those 42, 26 have participated since 2015. So you can see here, if we can get these 42 districts on board, we're going to be really close to that goal. Okay. So what we're going to really need to do is keep our finger on the pulse. We can go back through this list once we get through everything. If y'all want to see it again with this presentation, I will say send it out to others that may have outreach or connections, just so that we can start getting people talking about it. I will say I reach out to folks all the time, and more often than not, I hear, "Oh, wow, I thought we'd already done that." And somebody had thought they'd done it, they hadn't done it yet. So definitely want to keep the finger on the pulse there. So this again is the Airtable tracking link. I told you you'd see it several times throughout. So make sure you click on here before because it's updated every day. So you might definitely click on there as you start to do your outreach. Sophia? Another really cool new initiative that has started that we're pretty excited about. We all know that Philadelphia is a prime area that we would like to engage in the PAYS. And we've been very lucky to have, during this administration, some new grassroots folks, coalitions that are doing amazing work throughout the city, who we've engaged. And we have formed the Philadelphia PAYS Engagement Partnership, or PEP, as we like to call it. And through this partnership, we've really, over the course of the past few months, we've really come together. We have created a petition that folks are signing, and it's basically a nice way just to remind the school district, hey, this is important to us, to those in the city. We also are providing 2 webinars that anyone is welcome to join, and they're included here. I know this flyer is hard to see, but the link down here, if you click on it, it should take you directly to the flyer. But these 2 pep talks, as we're calling them, are going to be held on September 26th. There's one in the morning for schools and providers, and one in the evening for families. Again, the focus being on the value of PAYS, what it can do to help you if you're a provider, why it's important to families, what it tells us. So we're really excited to present those. I encourage you to reach out. Click on the flyer, the links, and all of the QR codes that are here. You can sign that petition. The more the merrier. You don't have to be in Philadelphia. This is important to all of us. So I want to encourage you to forward the flyer, join our pep talks if you're interested. Again, this will be, geared towards Philadelphia, but has really great information that anybody can use. So definitely check that out and take a look at it. Sophia? So this, and Lee, I believe we're going to do a poll here. Is that right?
Yep. So what we really want to know here is, have you used the PAYS registration tracker, also known as the Airtable? So we want you to go ahead and answer yes, no, or I'm just learning about this tool. So we'll go ahead and give a couple seconds to get those answers tracked.
How cool. It's just about even of those who have or haven't used it. Really neat. Wow, it is dead on, spot on even now. So that's cool. So I'm going to encourage that 44% of you who responded, get in and click on that Airtable, because it's really going to tell you a lot. Super easy to get to, easy to share, and it really will give you a lot of information. Lee, anything else you'd like to say?
Nope, thank you. Thank you for participating in the poll.
Yes, thank you all. But how cool was that? An exact balance of those who have or have not, or those who are just learning. So I think it's really great. So Sophia, you want to stop sharing the poll? Oops.
Yep, should be stopped.
Okay, I think, okay. There we go. Had to get off my screen. So now, as Lee had mentioned earlier, we're going to go through a few tips and tricks if you're going to do some outreach for recruitment. We know in the 2021, there was a lot of trepidation going on. We were kind of trying to come back from COVID. We're really, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're really considered post-COVID now, even though we know it's still a thing. And, it's going to be with us forever. It's going to be like the flu, y'all. It's not going anywhere. but we're in a much better place. And the districts that I'm working with, there seems to be a really renewed sense of planning forward, getting things going, but there's a lot going on because of that. It's a lot than we've seen in the past couple of years, but there's a lot definitely going on. So we want to spend a few minutes talking about just some things to think about before you outreach. Sophia? So, when you go, keeping in, this mindful approach when you go to reach out to a district, because we all know, districts want to know what their students are saying and feeling. They do want to know that, and that's what the excuse me. And that's what PACE tells us. But we have to remember that there are a lot of pressures on schools, academic pressures. We are talking a lot about, COVID-related lags in education progression. We know that kids are behind, and this is not just in Pennsylvania, this is universally. We know that this is a thing. There is such a focus right now on academics. But coupled with that, the good thing is there's also a really strong focus on mental health. So this idea of going in to say, we understand you're busy, we understand you have a lot going on, there's a lot of pulls, a lot of expectations, but we also know you're concerned about the things that PACE is going to tell you. So something to really think about there. The social climate around school districts has changed. All of our world, the social climate is very, very different. And I think that being mindful of, kind of what's going on in your community is very important. I mean, there are folks out there who don't want us to do PACE. They don't believe in it, and that's okay. The thing is that we understand that, and what we're saying to you, just be mindful of what is going on, not just within the school, but around the school, if you will, so that you can kind of understand what may be happening. There's always financial pressures that, we always see those. There's administration pressures. There was a lot of turnover in this past summer. I don't think as much as maybe in last year, but there was it seems like there was a lot more turnover in kind of building level and administrative level within districts. Last year, we saw a huge change in superintendents across the state. So we definitely always have to remember that there are things always going on. Just always be sensitive in your wording and also in your timing. This is something that, making sure that the time is right when you meet with folks, that they're focused on what you're doing. So definitely that mindful outreach, something to think about. Sophia? So one of the things that's also encouraging when you go out to talk to districts, you can see here online participation rates. Y'all seen these before, and throughout the years they've continued to grow. In 2021, we had 85% of the districts participating. They did online, which we did see a good jump there. Within current registrations, we're again about at 85%. We recognize that there are some districts that they don't even have the wireless, the capability, the internet capability to have students to be able to work on do all the PACE at one time. I mean, there's districts who just cannot facilitate because not every student has a computer. I mean, things like that go on. However, if there is that opportunity, this is a really good reason to reach out and to get your districts to participate online. There's going to be another early release report that will come out to those districts that were that will participate online, and this will come out in December. I believe we're going to have a focus around mental health, and so again, if they want that early data, they have to participate online. There is lots of assistance for districts who go, wow, I really want to do this, but I just don't know if we can pull it off. Mary from Bach Harrison is here to answer your question. Her email is here. There's a lot of, we can engage local folks to help, whatever that may look like. So definitely, if you hear a district who would like to go in that direction, but just aren't sure, please reach out to the team. We will gladly walk them through it, talk them through it, let them kind of think out loud. And Mary will be our key point for that. So thank you, Mary, for that. Sophia? So here's just some questions for you to think about before you go out, just to be prepared. I always say that, the best way to get a yes is to think about the no. And to, you know, when you go in, if there's a district and they're like, you know, and when I say think about the yes, but, you know, or understand the yes, but think about the no, the reality is that you've got to get ahead of it. So if you know what they're going to push back on, whether it's, you know, whatever reason it may be, stay ahead of this game. You also need to stay ahead and understand their participation pattern. That you can also get all online. And if you can't find it, reach out to us. We can make sure you have that information. You need to understand what changes have taken in that leadership space. You know, are there new folks on the board who are just adamantly opposed to any survey? It doesn't matter, pays, whatever. And those folks are out there. You need to understand that challenge. Again, we're here to help you tackle that. Again, have the decision makers changed at the school building level? If you know, had previous administrators who were building level administrators who were very supportive and they were pumping those kids up and let's get excited. And now you have one who really maybe they just don't maybe understand it. You need to understand that. Again, that's a good opportunity to reach out and help educate them. Another question to kind of ask them is to find out, will the district be able to administer in the same time frame as they have in the past? Now, this question was very applicable to last year, especially because we still had quite a few kids who were remote and things were still kind of weird out there. But the key is asking that question because it is important. This is a reminder for everyone. It is important to administer in basically the same window if possible, because if you were, say, administering in late September and then the district waits until after, say, Thanksgiving or homecoming, right? Because we're going from mid-September to Thanksgiving is our administration window. If, let's say, they wait until after homecoming, it's really going to potentially affect. Let me stress that there a lot of their data around drinking and some of the other things that we know occur during that off time and celebratory time that school districts do. So the other thing that I think is important is when you go to a district to think about, are there avenues that you can share the value and importance of PACE with school building level folks? One of the things that we really want to, and we really are trying to find avenues to make sure that all folks on a school district or within a school building understand how important PACE is, what all it does. It's not just another test. It's not just another thing that the kids are doing, but we want to kind of open up and encourage you to open that dialogue up of, you know, showing them the tools that are there, showing them that, you know, there are teams of people that will come and help them understand. And we will help you with all of this when you go out. So if you're starting to reach out to a new district that you haven't reached out before, let us know. You know, I'll be happy to have a conversation myself and just talk through kind of what you might want to say and how you might want to say it. And that's really what this is all about. Sophia? So a few other things here, just a little bit extension to think about, just some probing questions before you go out. We've talked about online already. We talked about new decision makers at any level, because it could be, you know, any time there's, you know, just because you've always done it doesn't mean the team and the players are all the same, right? So it's something to kind of think about those more directly. These are some things to, you know, definitely looking for those opportunities to open up for dialogue. Is there a new PACE coordinator? That's another key piece here. The PACE coordinator for the district, every district has one. You know, if there's a new one, you know, making sure that they know, you know, they've gotten connected, reach out to them and go, hey, what's happening? Are you feeling good about things? Do we need to connect you up with some other folks to help you out? So definitely that's something to think about as well. You know, are there any anticipated survey challenges? You know, are there things that, you know, I know there was one school district that was very seriously affected by a tornado. And that district, they wanted to participate. They were trying to participate. They just could not make it work. It was just too much. There was severe building damage. I mean, it was just a lot. So again, kind of think about what are some challenges. Be preemptive when you go into those meetings. Be prepared with answers to challenges, because that's how you're going to get your yes. And that kind of leads to the last question, especially, you know, if they're not registered, why not? What's going on? You know, I do believe that we're having, you know, a little bit of a delay with some districts waiting for this school board meeting, maybe this month, just to say, hey, we're going to do it. and making sure, again, as I mentioned earlier, that transparency and that check off and sign off is there. So just find out what's going on. Why haven't they registered, especially if they've participated for basically the past 10 years. So you definitely want to check that out. So I'm going to pause here, and I think Lee's going to lead us in a little bit of Q&A.
Yes, definitely. So thank you, Phyllis. Lots of really great information. And I'm so happy that we're able to give folks those tools that some of them didn't even know really were available. So thanks for sharing all of that information. So our first question comes from Monica. Her question is for way back in the beginning about the COM-CTC category that we referenced. Are these career and technical? So Monica's question is, are these career and technical centers? And then the follow-up to that, if so, are they within the district? Essentially, will there be overlap where students may inadvertently end up taking the PAYS twice, once they're at their home district and then again at their career and technical center?
That's a good question. This is one where for a COM-CTC to sign on, they need to make it really explicit and clear that students, there wouldn't be overlap. So I think for the ones that have signed on, these are ones where the students that would be participating are maybe not, there's not overlap, or they usually, they have to make a case for how the students that would be participating at the COM-CTC wouldn't be taking the survey at another school. So, but that said, these are ones that we always double check on. So actually, this is a good reminder to me to check back in to those. I think there's only one that we haven't heard from about making this justification, just to make sure before the survey starts that that is the actual case for that.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing.
And Mary,
Monica,
if I could just have, Lee, I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
Typically, the CTCs, the way that they are designated, they know if there's overlap or not. That's not a hard, like, because of their designation. And you can, without getting all the weeds with that I think Mary and them do a great job double checking, just to make sure. But the designation of the school district, if it's a COM-CTC, it's very different than Mary, what is it, an OCC? CTC, MOUSC,
Yeah.
Anyway, there's other designations that determine if it's a full-time student at there or not. So, but Mary and them do a great job to double check.
Great, thank you both. So another question coming from Sonia is, who would be a good person to talk to about PAYS data workshop material ideas? Our community hasn't had a 2021 data workshop yet, and my coalition is planning one for October. So, so Phyllis, I don't know if you want to take this one, and then Sonia, if you need to explain a little bit further what you're asking there, we can make that possible.
So Sonia, if you want to, are y'all looking, can you talk a little bit about more what you're planning to do at your work, what you'd like to do at your workshop? Is she able to unmute?
If you raise your hand, I can unmute you. There we go.
Hi. Actually my name is Jamie. I don't know why it says Sonia.
Jamie, well, welcome.
Yeah.
AKA Sonia.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm from the Shippensburg area, Community Resource Coalition, and I was just wondering if there's like any materials such as like handouts, posters, like anything that like can help with our workshop. I've never personally done one before. I'm new to it, but our coalition isn't new. So is there anything like that available?
Lee and Elise and Sophia.
Yeah, great question. We're going to
resources.
get into some tools that we have available. We have videos that we're going to go over and we're going to review in this webinar, but we also have some really great infographics that would really speak to a parent audience, or we have one that's really more towards school district and community members. I would suggest that you use that as an infographic. And then, you know, we can connect separately. You know, I have tools that I've used in my own coalition. And, you know, I know Phyllis has come and talked to my coalition. So we have lots of resources that we can share with you related to PowerPoints and imaging and all of the things. So we can connect for sure.
And thank you, Lee, for that, for being willing to share what you've used before, because it, you know, there's so much, and kind of having a clear, what's 3 things you want to accomplish will really help you kind of decide where you want to go. You know, what's the purpose? What are you hoping people to walk away with? That'll help us kind of help guide you through, you know, where you want to go. I do encourage you, though, to really think about and review through the really great videos that Lee and the rest of the team have created, because that would be a really great thing to insert into a presentation, so you don't have to feel like you're the expert on PACE. You've got experts on videos that you can show. And so that's just one thing I just would want you to maybe key in and think about to enhance the handouts and all that Lee was talking about.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. No problem. And actually, I'm sure that there's a lot of people on this call who you could connect with as well, who have done this work for, you know, several years and have access and have those things available to them too. So this is sort of like an opportunity to consider for us as the panelists of what we want to do for next time, because this is great information, because as we're building these webinars and the content for these webinars, I think it's important to know that, you know, later in the spring, folks will be wanting to share the data from the 2023 PAYS, and we might want to consider having some sort of showcase of ways to do that and effectively do that. So thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank
Not
you.
Sonia.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yep.
So we have another question from Donna. So what is the final date for districts to register? And I'm assuming that question is to register to sign up for the PAYS and to participate in the PAYS as a school district. As we all know, the last day to participate is before Thanksgiving break, right? But what is the final date that folks can register?
I can speak to that one. I think we will be sending out, our plan is to send out kind of our final sort of nudge to superintendents, and then to leave the kind of the really sort of boots on the ground recruitment up to community level individuals. That said, the survey window itself officially ends November 17th. Inevitably, each administration, we do have some districts that request to be able to survey in December. So the survey just needs to be 100% completely finalized and surveys returned to us electronically or in paper format before the winter break or the winter holiday. So I mean, a district could sign on in November and still figure out a way to get the participation done before we kind of close down our window, our big window.
But we really want to stress between Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, I've got to always say that, because we're really trying to stress by Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and November 17th is the goal.
Exactly. So so a district, Mary, could you speak to, if they're doing online, you only need two weeks?
Yes, yeah, no, that's a good question. The longest component of the planning process is actually getting the parent opt-out letter. It's a passive consent process, getting that letter out to parents. We want to allow them 2 weeks to consider the survey, to request a copy if they want, and then to opt their children out if they want. So that's the longest component of the whole process. So maybe like 2 days 2 weeks and like a couple of days would give you plenty of time after you sign on to get the survey completely done, especially if you're doing the survey online.
So let me just solidify what Phyllis is saying. I've had a school district who was under the wire in their registration, and it was not fun for my end either. So just know that this is something that we really want to try to stick to those deadlines there. So I had a question from earlier or a clarification just so the group knows. Phyllis, on your list that showed the not yet registered school districts, and they were associated with a county. If we didn't see a county on there, then that means that every school district in that county has registered, correct? Correct. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that because okay.
Yeah, if they're not listed, that means they have at least replied. They may have said no, but they've at least replied. If they're on this list, we haven't heard from them at all. So
perfect. Okay. We do have another question in the chat. This one coming from Monica. You know, she's talking about how much how valuable the survey is. And last year, she knows that there was a conversation about some changes around inclusivity of the survey, specifically choices for gender, in addition to male, female, and other. And then her question is, has that change been made? And I don't know who wants to take that one.
I mean, I think any of us can address that. Monica, we've continued to have ongoing discussions and realize the importance and the inclusivity of that. It has not changed. We are looking at some changes in 2025 that may include that, but as of right now, we still have male, female, and other at this point. So that's where we have for the 2023 survey. We are very aware, and it is definitely still on the table, and conversations will continue. And hopefully in 2025, we have the appropriate language. We wanted to make sure that we included everybody at the table, you know, the appropriate voices. So we knew that we were doing the best practice to get those questions in the survey. So it's still on the table, but this survey does not have anything other than male, female, and other.
Yes, thank you for sharing, Elise. Okay, so any other questions that I've missed anywhere?
Lee, there was a question about the contact information so that we can reach out to you about approaching a new charter school system to take the PAYS. So Elise, would you like those requests to come to you and then you can dole them out, or?
That would be fine. Yes, whatever works best. If there's anybody who needs any direction, I get all of the PAYS questions, or you can email me directly.
Can you put your email in? Thanks.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, so there's my email, and you can email me directly, or on the EPIS page, there's a link to ask a PAYS question, and those come directly to me. So if you need assistance with recruiting, I know I pull Mary, and Mary gets lots of CCing Mary on this question. So it'll go to her if it's appropriate to her, or I will be able to give you the information that you need. So anything like PAYS questions or anything that any of the resources that Lee will share later, if you can't find them, or there's something that you lost a link, send me an email and I'll make sure that you get what you need.
Another question did pop in from in the Q&A box around, and Donna is requesting an update on the grade 4 survey. So do we have any new information to share about the grade 4 survey?
I'm going to let Phyllis talk about that. I think we all have the same things to say, but yeah, just to make sure.
Well, I'll just start out by saying that we did host Elise and Grace, and I was able to attend one of the listening sessions this summer, and we got a lot of really, really great input. You know, this is still in pilot phase. We are going to roll out. Mary, do you want? I'm horrible with numbers. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but we've had how many districts that have registered to participate? They may not because of various reasons, but how many districts do we end up having?
We're over 30 districts, and like based off of their current enrollment, it could be up to 15,000 students, which is pretty tremendous. But like Phyllis said, some may opt out because we don't have a paper option, and in general, everybody knows that this is just a pilot. So, but recruitment was really wonderful.
Yeah, it went well, and people really are interested. And I have to say, and Elise, I'm queuing you up for you to fill in the blanks here.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to watch these focus groups that we had to have. And the one I attended was in Pittsburgh, and they had a really great cross section. That there were teachers, there were administrators, there were SAP folks. I mean, it was just a really great room, and just to hear the interesting input. And some of the most interesting input that we got was from one of the ladies had shared with her son, who's in 4th grade. And it was so interesting to hear his input on some of the things. It was a fascinating, but Elise, I'll let you kind of fill in the blanks a little more with that.
Yeah, I mean, we really, the 4th grade listening sessions were very, very informative. Now, and I don't know if anybody, Donna, obviously you're aware of the 4th grade since you have asked about it. So I'm not sure who all on this call, has participated, is aware, how their school has participated, but it really is a genuine pilot. There will be some major changes. Those listening sessions, gave us a lot of insight as to what we need to develop, what we need to work on, where do we need to make sure that we strengthen the survey to make sure its focus is what we want it to be, and that it is scientifically valid, and that it can stand up with the PAYS. It ran the gamut between the questions, then to the naming convention of what do we want to call the PAYS, and we may bring that here to the webinar too. Like, what do we call the PAYS that's doing 4th grade, because it's not necessarily the PAYS that has all of the questions that people think about, and they don't want 4th graders maybe answering those questions. So it was just a mixed bag of everything. We got so much information, but again, a little late for us to change the pilot in our direction right now. So right now we're going to be implementing the pilot, getting the information that we can, getting the feedback from those who proctored it and the survey coordinators, and hopefully really come to everybody with a new and improved 4th grade survey with everything that we've learned from implementing the pilot and from the listening sessions. And I know, is there anything else that you want to add to that? I mean,
I think one of the keys, though, for those of you who are not familiar, this is what we've sort of leaning to the PAYS Junior.
I wasn't sure if we wanted to announce that. Because
well, it's not an announcement, but it's just this is what we're calling it for today. Is very social emotional space. We are not asking the questions around substance use and some of the other things that are included for the older student. And that was interesting that it was one of the first questions that folks filled out. So I think, one of the things we want to be sure of long term is helping schools understand how the 4th grade leads into the traditional PAYS and what that track looks like over time, so that we can get them using the PAYS like everybody's using the PAYS. And it's going to be a process. And like Lee said, we learned a lot, and we're excited to see how for 25 that we can do a full rollout and offer it out to everyone after we've made some changes, use that information we have. Mary, anything else you wanted to add there?
I don't think so. I think we're kind of just trying to figure out too in the administration how to what we're learning, kind of, how we can integrate these two surveys together. So we just rolled out our survey coordinator training for those both doing just kind of the primary PAYS survey, and then also those doing the 4th grade pilot. So we're just that's data that I'm collecting in terms of what feedback survey coordinators are giving me about how how simple it is to integrate these two, or any complexities that might be involved. But so.
Okay, so there was another question that came in through the chat, but they did answer it. But I just want to let everyone know the question was around what happens if a superintendent needs to get a hold of that registration email, and the answer is to go ahead and reach out to Mary, and her email is in the chat. So please go ahead and check that out. And thank you for your questions, and thank you for that update on the 4th grade survey. That was great to hear. So we are going to shift gears now as we wrap up to sort of debut some of our tools for the PAYS 2023 administration, some new things that have just come out. So I'm going to ask you, Sophia, if you want to go ahead and pull up the Padlet, and we can sort of talk about all of those and what those look like. So we have been motivated to make some changes on how folks are recruiting and promoting and administering the survey. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible to have some tools that were available to schools, parents, and so schools, parents, and sort of the community as well. So what we have on here are a PAYS video playlist that we have. We have the PAYS student video. So the PAYS student video that you're seeing up there that the cursor is on, that is going to be for PAYS. It's not taking the place of a proctor conversation. So proctors are still going to have a toolkit. They're still going to be able to have a conversation with students before they take the survey. But we really wanted to take the guesswork out because, you know, some people might be explaining the survey in one way and other folks might be explaining it in a different way as they're proctoring, right? As they have this responsibility to proctor the PAYS survey. So we wanted to sort of like remove that guesswork and have this tool available to them. So this is going to be shown to students before the survey is administered to them. It is a student-led video, so we have students participating, explaining the survey, and you know, letting students know what the survey is used for, what the expectations are, and just a little bit around logistics of the survey. We did include information for the paper or pencil. We know that have a lot of folks taking the online survey, but we wanted to include some information in there about the paper survey as well. So that is one thing that is new for this year. We also have for schools, we have two different videos. One is sort of a recruitment video, and that's the second video you're seeing there. The PAYS for school districts, that is a promotional video that talks about the PAYS, why the PAYS is important, why school districts should participate, and sort of like what the questions that are being asked. The second video that's above that video, the PAYS administration video, that is for schools who are administering the PAYS. So this is something that we can make that is accessible to any of you now. And see, Phyllis has already put the link to the Padlet in the chat, so thank you so much. And you can go ahead and access these videos and ensure that schools have this. So schools should watch this video before, so school administrators and also the school district, sort of the person who's in charge of the pay administering the PAYS should watch this video as well. So that video is available. And then finally for schools is, and I had referenced this before, the infographic that's underneath information for schools and communities. So Jamie, I had referenced this when I was explaining to you some tools that we have available now. This is available for download. You can go ahead and use this to promote, to recruit for the Pennsylvania Youth Survey. We want this audience is really for schools and communities. It has a lot more information because I'm going to switch over to the parent section now. We do have a similar tool that's for a parent audience. It is condensed and it is a true one-page document that's just the front of one page that explains the PAYS. The other one for schools and communities is a little bit more detailed, and that's going to be on both sides of that. And then finally, we do have a PAYS parent video. We're hoping that this can answer some of the questions that parents have related to the PAYS. So we wanted to make sure that this was available to them for schools to share out, for folks that inquire with us, parents who inquire with us about the PAYS and what the PAYS is all about. We were hoping that this video could answer some of those basic questions, right? So those are the tools that we have available right now. And there are other tools in there as well that we have unveiled previously in other First Wednesday webinars. There's some PAYS presentation resources in there, and there's also some videos that go along with the PAYS guide. So that's really more for school districts and the folks who are analyzing the data. So that exists there as well. So just a quick update so you know that you can have access to all of those things as well. So then,
and I know I don't mean to interrupt you. I know we're going to watch one of them, but I just want to real quick. I want to interject here. This will be updated constantly for transparency, for people to be able to access this. You know, you can't always email a video. It's, you know, too lengthy. It's too big. Anything is here. So if you have parents who are concerned, you can pull up the one pager, print it off, and it's yours. You can have, and this will be updated consistently. So even just using your PAYS, as we continue to develop what we want to put there for, just like the question that we addressed earlier, you know, how can you use the data, and what are some resources? What are some, maybe when there's a webinar link, we will put it there, things like that. So I just wanted to say that it will be constantly being updated and making sure that hopefully you have all the information that you need.
Yep. And you said the First Wednesday webinar recordings are there too. So that's really great. A great tool, and there is a QR code for the Padlet as well, but we are going to go ahead and switch gears and do a survey. Do we have, I'm sorry, a poll? Do we have time to show one video? I think we have about time to show one video to sort of debut it so all of you can see it, but we wanted to see what you thought. Which one do you want us to share today during this webinar? So go ahead and select that, which video you would like to watch right now.
Give you 5 more seconds. All right. Looks like the PAYS student video won.
I had a feeling that's the one that would be selected. So Sophia, if you don't mind, go ahead and cue that up, and we can go ahead and watch that as a group.
Hi, I'm here to tell you about the Pennsylvania Youth Survey, or the PAYS. The PAYS is a survey of questions about many topics, from mental health and how much sleep you get, to bullying and tobacco, alcohol, and drug use.
Why are we asking you to take the PAYS? The information you're about to provide is very important to our state. State organizations have been partnering for over 30 years to bring this survey to students just like you.
The PAYS is your chance to tell policymakers, state and community leaders, school administrators, and many others about your experiences and challenges. It also details what types of things young people in your community need to be healthy and do well in both school and life.
Thanks for choosing to take this survey and for taking it seriously. Your opinions and experiences really do matter in the lives of others.
Your privacy is very important. Your answers are confidential, which means no one will know how you answer. The survey won't ask for your name, so there's no way any of the information can be linked back to you. This is not a test, and you won't be graded on anything. The most important thing is to answer honestly based on your experiences.
You might be wondering how your answers will be able to help other people. Results from past surveys have been used to help people understand the challenges we face so that they may be able to find ways to help.
Schools, adults, and organizations in your community need information from surveys like this so they can better understand how to best serve you and your classmates. So let's get started.
This survey takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Once you start, you need to finish or get as far as you can. It's okay to run out of time, but make sure you're not doing anything else while you take it. Remember, this is your opportunity for your voice to be heard.
You can skip any questions you do not want to answer or do not understand. If you do not want to take the survey, sit quietly at your desk and wait until other students are finished.
Make sure no one else can see your screen or paper and that your answers are private. Your teacher will not be walking around the room and cannot see your answers. Your teacher, or the person giving you the survey, will not be able to explain what a question means. If you do not know what a question means, or if you don't feel comfortable answering it, just leave the question blank.
If you're completing a paper survey, answer the questions by marking one of the answer bubbles, like in the example on the second page of your survey booklet. Fill in the bubble completely using a number 2 pencil. If you want to change an answer, erase the old answer completely.
If you are taking the survey online, click on the answer you want to choose for each question. If you change your mind, just click on the answer you want to use instead. Use the next and back buttons at the bottom of the screen to move through the survey questions. Only use the buttons at the bottom of the page. Don't use the back or forward browser buttons on the web page. It will kick you out of the survey if you use the web page browser buttons.
I want you to know, no one assumes you're doing something just because they ask a question about it. And it doesn't mean anyone thinks it's okay either, just because they ask about it. They just want to know about your experiences. Some of the questions will have a choice to say that you don't do that behavior.
Please answer truthfully. Remember, your answers are confidential and can't be linked back to you in any way. You can skip any questions you don't understand or don't want to answer. Choose the answer that you think best describes your experience. If none of them seem to fit, you can either leave it blank or choose the one that is closest to your experience.
If you're completing the paper survey, write the number listed on the board on the front page of your booklet. If you're taking the survey online, your answers will only be saved when you get to the last page.
If you have any questions or concerns after taking this survey, please talk with your school counselor or another trusted adult. Thanks for your help with this important survey. The results will help us improve the health and wellness of all students in Pennsylvania.
It pays to ask, it pays to know.
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 Okay, so that is the video that students will see right before they take the PAYS. We wanted to make sure that they knew exactly what the PAYS was asking and some logistics about how to answer questions in both versions, paper and online. So that's where that came from. So thank you so much. And that takes us right to the end. So if you would go ahead, and we have some direction for you on the screen now. Please complete the survey after this webinar. And for questions, you can visit EPIS's website and for some of these tools as well. And then also don't forget to follow us on social media at EPIS Penn State. And thanks so much for everything. And Elise, did you have anything else to say before we adjourn?
I did not. Thank everybody for joining us very much. I apologize that last month I know some of you sat and thought maybe you had the wrong link, but here we are. So we're back. The schedule will be coming out. We're still working on it. Again, any suggestions, anything that you would like to see throughout this PAYS administration cycle, we are open ears and ready to support you in any way we can. And you'll have the link to this, so that way any of the schools that you can reach out to that have historically participated and we would like for them to participate this year, feel free to do that. Any support that you need, we're here. Parent videos and the school videos, check those out and hopefully you can get some use out of them. And that's it.